Welcome to ELR-Precision. We have Marcus from Zero Compromise Optics. Han är från Sverige, så han är en av oss båda. Or something.
Danska snackar jag bara när jag har druckit 57 Tuborg.
Are we rolling? Yeah. Welcome to ELR-Precision. I'm Yoel Steele. This is Marcus from Zero Compromise Optics. And we're here to talk about the history and the brand that is Zero Compromise Optics. So would you please tell me the starting point and the history of the Zero Compromise? How did it come to be what it is today?
So the company started in around, I would say, started development with a couple of engineers that came from other major companies like Collis and Nightforce. Development started off the scopes by them in the, I would say, around 2016, 17, 2018 it was launched with the 420 and the 527 at SHOT Show.
Exactly, it's quite a young brand.
Yeah, it's pretty young, but the guys behind it are still in the company. The owners, they have 30, 40 plus years of combined experience from the optics industry. So they've been around, they know what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
And all manufacturing is done inside of our own facility in Vienna, Austria.
Right.
So own machine shop, assembly, engineering, everything is our own, which helps with product development. So after we had the 5-27, it was a huge success along with the 4-20.
Oh yeah.
We got in with the 2023, I believe it was. I'm a little rusty with exact dates, but somewhere in the 2023 region. We launched the 8-40, which is now in the past couple of years become the go-to scope for most high-level precision rifle competitors. So we can definitely see that. And last year we announced in the back wall there, the 2-10, which is more of a kind of a DMR, like AR-15 style scope. It was a request from a unit in Europe who wanted a scope with those specific features, and
makes sense.
We made them a prototype. They liked it, and then now we're starting production and starting to be delivering those as well.
All right. And has your marketing been part of getting the brand to where it is now and the popularity it has with the precision shooting community, or has that just been the quality of the optic that's done that for you?
We're such a small company, so we spend very little money on actual marketing. Well, I mean, we go to shows like this, but we support the PRS now in the US as of last year and things like that. But overall, the most of it is just like, we don't have a shooting team or anything like that. So we don't have any actual like sponsored shooters, so to say.
So it's like word of mouth.
Yeah, it's word of mouth, and we show up, we support the matches, we're there, we're listening, we're talking to the guys involved in the sports, and just the extreme ruggedness and optical clarity is just really spread like a wildfire. So last year, so 2 years ago, we were number 4th or 5th in the top 200 of the PRS in the US.
Right.
And last year, we were aiming to become, maybe get up on the little so-called podium on 3rd place. We're like, well, we're pretty happy with a 3rd place. And,
yeah, sure.
And then just before SHOT Show, when we landed in Vegas, they published it, and we were number 1. It's like everyone's like, wow, that's really something.
And it's just so impressive to me that a company that's so young. But it makes sense when you have engineers that have 30 and 40 years of experience in the optics brand. But what's so impressive to me is that the Zero Compromise brand is so young, and that it's got to a stage where it is now where this is one of the risers that I've seen that makes the most sense because it rises everything up so high.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that you have the 3 different, you have 45 edge side, you have 90-degree holes for accessories. I love that. And also, one of the things that I talked to Marcus, your engineer, about was that I had the pleasure of working with the ZC527 a couple of months ago, and the only gripe I had with that was the zoom lever had a little bit of a grindy feel to it.
Yeah.
And he explained that to me, that the tolerances are so small that it's hard to get that super smooth feel to it because your tolerances are so small.
Yeah, they're so tight. It's obviously, he's the engineer, I'm just a sales guy. He's better explaining the technical details, but it's when you're working with such high precision, it's not, if you get a little bit of a feeling, it's not necessarily that it's a bad thing. It's just that everything is super tightly fitted, and there is grease and everything, so everything's going to move. But it's a little bit like, so you talk to car people. You have a sequential gearbox in a race car. It's going to get a little bit of a wind to it.
Yeah, sure.
And it's pretty much the same thing.
So it's straight cut gears instead of
yeah,
it makes sense.
Sort of like that's the best explanation. I used to do car stuff, so that's for me that makes sense to do that.
Yeah, to me, I used to do motorcycles, so it makes sense.
Yeah,
we always have straight cut gears. But other than that, I just really love the way that everything feels. It's really nicely clicky. It's got good both elevation turrets. It's got good windage turrets. Everything is really nice. What I also feel really cool is the shake to wake function on
the aim function of the illumination there.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah. So it turns off when you go either like past, I don't exactly know what degree it is, but if you turn in 90, it turns off.
Yeah.
And past 70 upwards, it turns off. And as soon as you aim, getting down to the correct, aiming at something, it starts it off again. So I'm horrible with remembering turning my illumination off. So as soon as I'm done shooting, I put it in the safe and I know it's off. So I used the 4-20 for hunting, and that's the only time I use the illumination. But it saves me battery, because next time I'm going hunting, otherwise it would be dead.
It would, and I have that same problem, and that is, of course, a really good way to eliminate that issue.
For sure.
So this is the 527.
5-27. Yes.
Let's bring the maybe the 840 over here. Talk a little bit about that.
So the 840 is a little bit longer, which comes with the optical calculation, obviously being 40 power.
Exactly.
And obviously, again, I'm not the engineer.
No.
The 8-40 has probably some of the, if not the most forgiving parallax you can find on the market on a high power scope, combined with a very forgiving eye box.
Yeah.
So for me, I personally run this one for PRS. Because I find just that the parallax and the whole thing is just, for me, it works a lot better. 527 still being our most sold product, but 8-40 for high level competitions or competitors is starting to become the go-to way. And
this is one of the ones that I'm personally very interested in for ELR shooting, is when you got the 527 is great, but that extra 10 or 15 zoom is really great when you get to the longer shots. That's typically 2+ K shots. You of course do the MOA turrets, and you do the mill turrets.
Yeah.
What I think is really cool also is the 0.1 mil. Are you planning on any 0.5 or 0.05?
Not at the moment, no. For those people who are requesting that, we have the eighth of an MOA, which is like what, 003 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Math isn't my best.
No, and that is just math. I mean,
if you want those extra fine adjustments, we have the eighth of an MOA turret, and most of the time we get a request on like the really fine adjustments in the mills. It's for like 1,000-yard or theft class or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then you get even finer with the eighth of an MOA. So we're currently not really, as far as I know, looking into it.
And
but we're still like. We're a very small company, Austrian-based, so we have to look at like how much can we actually make and still have it, not lead times be horrible.
Yeah, that makes sense. And also, it's just a question of what you punch into your calculator, and then that gives you a click base for mills or MOA, so that doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So, but majority, I would say, like, even going MOA and everything, it's still, for us, it would be difficult to add an extra SKU to every model with the 0.05 mil.
That makes sense. The 420.
Yes, sir.
Let's just bring that over here. Also.
Yeah, so 4-20 is obviously a bit shorter. Same thing there, all different optical calculation. 50 millimeter front lens instead of 56. Overall, a shorter, more compact system.
Exactly.
So for the 4-20, parallax is now down to, it used to parallax down to 25 meters, now it's all the way down to 10. The 840 is also down to 10.
Yeah.
527 is still at the 25 meter mark.
Yeah.
We'll see if we'll be able to get that down to 10 as well.
Yeah, and that's really cool for the 22 guys that are shooting close range, but also need to get to longer range.
Yeah, so we've noticed that, especially with 22 competitions, that it will be more forgiving with the parallax setting on shorter ranges as well. So that's why a lot of people there want to go 420 or 840.
That makes so much sense.
So, and also hunters prefer the 4-20 because it's more compact.
Yeah, and what I've also noticed is when you have a super expensive optic on your rifle, I tend personally to use that rifle for hunting as well.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be taking my expensive scope off my system to put a cheaper scope on to go hunting with it. That's also why I feel that the 2-20 makes so much sense. In terms of PRS competition,
yes, sir.
we also see that the lower end of zoom bands is being preferred in the PRS because we have a wider field of view.
Yeah.
And is that something that you feel a direct consequence of with the 4-20, that you get more sales in PRS or in 22 match style rifles than you do in the bigger?
No, the 8-40 is actually still like, it's becoming our most sold scope for precision rifle matches like that, because even though you're pulling down, because I mean, you're never going below 8 power anyway.
Basically,
and most of it, you will have more use of a 40 than you will have of a 5. That's why people are going with the 840, the more forgiving parallax and everything. It has about a 10 to 12% more field of view at the same magnification compared to the 5-27. But that's usually not the case where people are buying it, because you know the nice eye box, the forgiving parallax, the optical clarity.
Yeah, I really like that.
Because you always have to give something up. If you want to go with a wider field of view, you're just going to have to sacrifice something else. So you have to find the balance of what you're looking for in shape in terms of performance. And
that makes so much sense.
So it's a little bit of a, take something, you have to give something.
All right, cool. Well, I think that the rest of what we need to talk about doesn't need to be on film. So I'm going to have to thank you for your collaboration and for talking to us.
Thank you.
So it's been a pleasure, Marcus.